What's up, you guys? It's Alex and
Jary here.
from the Beyond Average Show, and today we're back to you with another video. Today we're going to talk about comfort zones.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for smashing like buttons. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting this channel.
Yep.
We're really grateful for you. We love you. We hope you find some value from today's episode because we worked hard and the beeper is beeping. Okay. What do you have to say?
Okay, so let's just dive right into it because this is a great topic.
It is very interesting.
We're excited to talk about it.
Oh, yes.
So, first of all, why is it so hard to get out of our comfort zones?
Ooh,
So, we'll talk about first why people feel the need to stay in their comfort zones. And I got something out of one of my old textbooks. As you guys already know, probably from listening to the other episodes, I am a college student majoring in psychology. So one of the textbooks mentions a couple things I found really interesting about comfort zones. First, they talk about people having something that I never heard about, but fear of success. People are actually fearful of reaching their fullest potential. So what this textbook is saying that people get, like, if they do end up getting to a very high level, that they feel awkward, they feel uncomfortable. So they revert back to what they're familiar with and just being that mediocre self. A, because they feel uncomfortable. B, maybe because they feel like they don't deserve that highest potential feeling.
Bridge.
And C, I'll let Alex keep talking and then I'll mention C.
Well, okay, I love this subject. I'm so excited to talk about it. I love Tony Robbins. He talks about this all the time. So I want to plug something here. Comfort zones, he says that you have an identity and it's like a thermostat, right? So if you define yourself within your identity as a 78 degreer, when things go bad, you're like, no, I'm not going to go to 65. I'm not going to go to 69. And you find a way always to bring this up to 78, regardless of what's going on. If that means money or emotions or relationships. Okay. But the problem with that is once you define yourself as a 78 degreer, then once things start going good and you're over 100, you're like, oh, what is going on? Why am I getting more traction than I'm supposed to? And subconsciously, you drop it back to 78 degrees. It's a very dangerous thing and a very interesting thing. Just like a thermostat controls your approach. What do you think?
I think that ties in perfectly to what I just said about people just reverting back to what they're familiar with. And of course, when you're growing and you're going to different levels, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first. But how you get comfortable with the new level is staying there until you can get familiar with that level.
Exactly.
But going back to C, the text mentions other people also having an influence on your fear of success. You know, your coworkers, you don't want them to outcast you because you're in a different, area in your life, and I don't want to say maybe they're jealous, but they also don't want to lose you. So it's a crab-like action. The textbook was saying they pull you down. If you obviously everybody's seen crabs and lobsters in a tank, and they cling on to one another and they pull that other crab or lobster down. And that's what this textbook was kind of like portraying, is that people do that when they see their friends be like going to different heights, going to different levels, as they start pulling that person down.
It's so interesting. But it is very subtle, right? And this thing, like when you, like, because it becomes real once you announce to the world what do you plan to do, or like you tell them that you took a few steps towards a different direction and they feel like they're left back, they can start, like you said, like pulling you back, but very subconsciously, because they might feel they're gonna lose you. And it's across the board. It's not like other people. It might be your spouse, might be your child. It's everybody, your parents.
Right.
So you should be aware of that. But you can use this to your advantage as well. And what I mean by that is, for example, if you make $200,000 a year and you live comfortably and you think you're on top of the world, and you go somewhere where somebody makes $100,000, $1 million a year, and they have a mansion and a private jet, or you feel like you're poor, you know. So you should let this fuel you sometimes. And you have to feel this uncomfortable feeling of, growing into a new level. So be like, okay, wow, okay, so I can step up my game.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Using peer pressure, but in an opposite way.
Yeah, to your advantage.
Yeah, that's great. So another thing this textbook mentions, which I can relate to a lot, is and something I have heard of before, was fear of failure. And fear of failure, obviously, it is what it says. Like, you're scared to fail, so you don't even try at all.
It's so dangerous.
Because you don't want to look like a fool. Like, you don't want to get embarrassed. You want to be great right away. And if you're not, then you get too down on yourself. And this textbook was saying that a lot of people think like that. They don't think about the process of becoming perfect. They just automatically want to be perfect. So when they start trying and it doesn't go well for them in the beginning, they just go right back to where they started.
I know. And unfortunately, you might be this close and give up. But yeah, fear of failure, it's paralyzing. It really is paralyzing. And it's all in our head. Because people won't believe in you. Okay, you gotta accept that. You tell them something, and you all of a sudden you show up. You're like, oh, I'll do this YouTube thing, or you show up, oh, I'll do this talk thing, or you show up, I'll open my own business, or you show up, I'll whatever it is. Nobody will believe in you. You have nothing to show for anyway. Why would they believe in you, right? So this needs to come from within somewhere. Yeah. And I mean, Dana White, the guy that owns UFC, he was a bellman in Boston around here, and before he started UFC. They're like, he says, I'm going to go to Las Vegas. I'm going to start there. I'm going to start fresh. And the guy that he was working with, he's like, so what if you fail? And the guy's like, I'll come back here and be a bellman again.
Yeah.
So, like, you have nothing to lose, but you cannot be holding yourself back just because you're afraid to fail,
Right. Yeah. I mean, at least what's the worst that's going to happen?
Exactly.
Like, other than you went for it. And also, it's just like, don't go for it just once. That's the problem here, is that it's going to take a couple of times before you actually become whatever you want to become and whatever you want to achieve. It doesn't happen overnight. So plan to fail. This textbook says, and I love it, and this isn't the quote of the podcast, but I loved it. It says, from the Human Potential Movement, they say, if you want to be successful, double your failures.
Ooh.
Because success doesn't happen overnight. It happens with all those failures, with all those mistakes. So that way you're like sculpted into exactly that success you want to be.
I know. I love it, man. I love breakthroughs. I love seeing people break through. I love the underdog winning the fight. I love breakthroughs. When people break through, they try one more time and it works for them. It pumps me up so much. I stay up all night watching stories like this.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
So what else?
So let's talk about how we can change our mentality. Like, what are things you can do based off what we just talked about to get out of our comfort zones?
That is a good question. Okay, what are the things we can do to get out of our comfort zones, huh? Well, first of all, we have to realize why do we want to go back to a place that we find comfort. And that is because it's familiar, okay? So with everything new, which is not familiar to us, comes fear, comes uncertainty, comes all these things that we don't know, and we want to rush back to what we know how to do, So you have to make a conscious choice and realize that although pretty much nothing is going to go your way, nothing is going to be picture perfect. I want to tell you a quick story now too, because I remembered it. There was a guy that was working for a financial institution, and he wanted to start his own brokerage, right? And he said So he was, you know how it is, like they're very like man-controlled environment. They make fun of you even if you don't make the smallest mistake. So he announced to his peers that he wants to leave and start his own brokerage, and everybody's like starts making fun. He's like, and the older guy around, he's like, well, I've tried that and I came back. Go do your thing, and whenever you feel comfortable, you can always come back.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy told him while he was telling the story, the difference between me and you is that you failed and you came back. I know I'll fail, but I'll never come back. You know? So it's just deciding, no matter what, you'll make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it takes.
That's good. That was really well said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll like the start of that too is changing your thinking. That is the most important too, because your thought is gonna lead you to what you do.
Yes.
And just like that guy in the story, he had to make his mind up on what standard he was gonna hold to, and he said he wasn't gonna come back. So that was really good. And we know how powerful our thoughts can be with the decisions we make in life. So just honestly change your thoughts to what you want to do and stick to it. And honestly, just ask yourself, who are you really living for? Are you living for other people that will make fun of you when you fall? Like, who cares about them? This is your life. So if you fall and you get back up, pat yourself on the back and forget about those people who laughed at you, because at the end of the day, this is your life, not theirs.
Oh yeah. And it's much, much easier said than done. And we all want to like pretend, go for your dreams and this and that.
Yeah.
But guys, I swear to God, when you're 80 years old, and I try to remind myself as much as I can of that, and you look back and you realize you wasted so much time doing things you didn't want to do just because of other people's approval, or just because you didn't want to get judged, it will hurt you in a way that you can never take back.
Yeah, that's so true. And you can also go in peace with no regrets.
Yeah.
You know, at least you tried. Even if you fail, you tried. And if it didn't work out, find the thing that, like we mentioned a couple of times, the thing that does work out for your life and is going to bring you joy, happiness, and success.
Exactly. And like I said multiple times, the resources, whatever you want to do in this day and age, are there, guys. You really have to dig and find them out, but they are there. Like, it's not like 1950s that all you have is a library and maybe a few people's experiences. You can buy so many courses nowadays, find out how to do anything. Or
so true.
You can go on a they have this private mentorship thingies. You wanna do real estate, you go there. Not only you find out how people do it, but you start networking. You start talking with other people. You start thinking in a different way. You start being more refined in what you wanna do. Don't think that you're hopeless and there are no resources around, because there are so many in this day and age.
Yeah. And also, the way you're going to break your comfort is to actually do it.
Exactly.
Like, and it doesn't have to be something big. Like for me, which you'll hear when I share my stories about breaking from my comfort zones, like I hate public speaking. And like, I really do not like to talk out loud in class, and me having to go back to college, you have to do that. So like, I just don't like the eyes on me. And there's people who actually suffer from public speaking anxiety to the core. One of my professors that are teaching me right now, he suffered for many years. And what he said to me the other day, he's like, you know how you break free from that? You go out and you do it. And the more you do it, the easier it's going to become. He said that he suffered from public speaking so much that when he went to fast food restaurants, he couldn't even talk because he was,
Which is really hard.
So in baby steps, like we talked about too in a different episode, reaching your goals, like the same thing with your comfort. Do something there from, I don't know if it was Eleanor Roosevelt who said this, but do something every day that you're scared of.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's how you're going to break free from that comfort. And when you realize that that small thing that you were afraid of isn't terrifying, you're gonna want to do more stuff to break free from that.
Yeah. And then it is all about the traction. Like that's so true, man. Because you pump yourself up and you pump yourself up, you pump yourself up, and then you show up in the office and you just do your job.
Yeah.
You got to take this action sooner or later. Just take the first step. You gotta take action, because otherwise anything else we say and do doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, and just I'm a huge victim of that too. Like I've seen, like, I wanted to start a YouTube channel a long time ago. I didn't feel sure, and I did start it, and it didn't work as a plan, but we're working on it. But the point is, like, you gotta take action, because otherwise, if you don't, anything else we say, it doesn't matter.
Right. That's so good.
So what else?
So why don't you tell us about your YouTube ventures and your comfort zones?
Okay, let's see. That's gonna hit home. So, okay. So now we're gonna share stories about our experiences. Okay. Here's the thing. So I love the idea of YouTube. I think there is tremendous potential on YouTube, and people say that YouTube has too much competition now. That's true with anything. There is too much competition about anything, okay? The question is, guys, how do you stand out? How can you keep improving yourself? How can you make things better? Now, last year, I wasn't fully prepared, and my time limits are very tight. So I didn't have a plan of how can I make this work within my day-to-day schedule, okay? That was foul number one. That's why this didn't work. Did I feel uncomfortable making the very first videos? I've made some videos that I haven't never even uploaded because they're so cringy. Even my first video on my main channel, it's super cringy. I never look at the camera. I don't know how to put the light. And it's like you said, like, you find these things out as you go. But I uploaded it. My issue is that I never followed up. And I never followed up, honest to God, because I didn't see an immediate reward. In order for you to get monetized on YouTube, you need a couple of things. I made a video about how this works. You need 4,000 hours of watch time, and you need 1,000 subscribers. So I didn't see an immediate reward. So that's why I didn't give up, but I didn't follow up to it this closely. But this changes. It will change. It slowly changes. So my suggestion to you, if you plan to do something, don't go cold turkey like I did. Gradually have a plan of how can you have a consistent, and that's a huge word that I didn't include in my vocabulary in the beginning, a consistent plan to go ahead to any direction you want to go,
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, that was my experience. Slowly but surely I grew in it, and I did another thing. In order for me to feel comfortable, and I am this way to this day, I need to have the best, okay? The best course, the best mics, and that sometimes bites me. Because it gets too expensive, it gets too time consuming. But in order for me to feel comfortable to start, I need to be able to provide the best audio quality, or the best, I need to know all the tips and tricks of YouTube. So I spend a lot of money on courses, a lot of money on equipment. I don't regret it, and it hasn't even paid back, But I don't regret it. That's what made me feel comfortable within myself to do the first steps, And if that's something that you need to do, although you can do in a way, way smaller budget, do whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, that's good.
Tell us one of your stories.
Okay, so I actually wrote down my story. I was actually looking at Chicken Soup for the Soul books to share a story. And then I was like, why? If you've never read a Chicken Soup book, you need to do that now.
This guy became
that used to be
so huge back
my
in the day.
favorite. But anyways, I'm like,
what a name.
I know, right? I have so many things that I can say. I really I think that people are too hard on themselves and need to praise themselves a little bit better and more. And I feel like I've come a long way. So I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. So I'm like, you know what? I've done so many things that I was out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But anyway, so here's
you
a big one.
You gave me your number to begin with.
Yeah. Well, that was my number 2.
Oh, okay.
So when I was 19 years old, I was a mom of two babies.
Mm-hmm.
I had recently received my GED because I had dropped out of school when I was 16 years old. Needing to provide for my family, I had little time to decide what I wanted to really do in life, career wise.
Mm-hmm.
So I found myself going back to school for a dental assisting program that was like only 9 months long.
Mm-hmm.
Soon after, I got a job working for a great dentist, and I imprinted myself in that field for 9 years, gaining a lot of different expertise in the dental world, and it did give me good money. I was providing for my family, and I was proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
But one day, I realized I knew within my heart this wasn't where I wanted to be for the rest of my life. I had a moment where I envisioned myself at 60 years old dealing with the same work field, the same stress,
Mm-hmm.
and the same gifts I held within that I wasn't using.
Mm-hmm.
I decided right then and there I was wasting my precious time to invest into what I really wanted to do. So on September 5th, 2017, I decided to go back to school full time and study psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I plan to graduate this May with a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology with a minor in neuroscience. I put myself in a very awkward position, with me mainly being older than my fellow peers,
Oh yeah.
public speaking while being a shy person, and the label I had in my head that I was just a girl that obtained a GED. How could I do this? That's what I would always say to myself. How could I do this? I just was a girl who obtained my GED.
Mm.
But nevertheless, I fought through those evil thoughts, and I decided that I was going to go after it regardless and give it my all. And I was going to change my mentality. So I know God is going to take me amazing places because I pushed through my comfort zones.
Oh yeah.
Throughout this whole time, every time I didn't want to speak, I would. Every time I didn't think I was capable of doing an assignment, I would.
Ooh.
Anytime we would have to work in groups, I cringed. Not because I didn't like working with people, but because of those insecurities I had from I was just the girl with a GED over my head. But I did it anyways. In each area, when I said I didn't want to or I couldn't, I grew to be better as me from the things I tried to resist.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am. I have never received lower than a C, and my overall GPA is a 3.25, and I am extremely proud of that, especially being a mom of three
Good
and a wife.
job, girl.
So I did all that when the voices of me just being that lady with a GED, single mom of three at the same time was, back then, which you'll hear another story later, was trying to hold me back. But I did something bold to live my life the way I deserved to live it. And I can attest, this is a quote of the podcast, life does truly begin at the end of our comfort zones.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Thank you for sharing this story. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That's a great story. That's an example, a living example of breaking your own chains. It's amazing.
What's another one for you?
Hmm.
Just the fact that you're here in America.
I was thinking about that too. Yeah, it's okay, let's go there. Okay. So, I love this country. This country, here is as an immigrant to this country, here is my outlook and the way I view this country. In this country, nobody's gonna stumble your potential. If you wanna make billions of dollars or you wanna be the most famous person, or you can create the first cell phone or the first computer. You can do it here, right here, And anybody that says, there is China or there is Russia, I'll tell you something. All these countries, they use computers made from the US. They use American-made intelligence. They use American-made. And, many people can disagree. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just telling you, I feel like this is the place that everything is born. I feel YouTube is born here, Facebook is born here. Now we take all these things for granted. All these Apple products are born here. Are they manufactured here? No, but the intelligence comes from here. Anyway, my point is this: in this country, your potential is whatever it is made to be. Nobody's gonna stumble it. Do you wanna go to the moon and come back? Do you wanna go to Mars and come back? You can do it. You can literally do it. You can find the resources and do it. In other countries, it's not as easy. And unfortunately, I kind of saw that when I was in Greece. I saw that people can stumble your potential. And I'm not saying this to blame others, okay? It's everything is upon you. I'm saying I didn't want to play the game within these rules, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that I want to come here. And when I decided I want to come here, there was a lot of, pushback. Like I had things going on there, there was a party business that we started and it was going okay. And if we kept going, it would. Then there was a college that I could go there. But, okay, I really decided deep in my heart that if I want to make things work, I should have here. And I had like college offers, then I had things going on here too that I could go that route. But that wasn't my dream as well. My dream was to come here and do anything I wanted to do, not play the game by the rules that they're defined by other people. You go to a college, you got to, do your assignments, do your grades, do your this, do your that. I was willing to wash dishes literally than go to classes, You know why? Because I don't like being restrained in this kind of context where somebody else defines the rules. And that's a dangerous game as well, because you can really fail bad because you have no structure. You're just one man on your own. Anyway, it worked out for me, and we're comfortable. We're having big plans for the future. But all this, a guy from Greece that showed up in the US and made something happen, started with a thought.
Mm-hmm.
And started with a lot of emotion, deciding to leave things back, deciding, and people see that too. Like your parents see it, like your friends see it. They see that you are like on a different path, and discussions change, and people see that you kind of leaving them, although you're not leaving them behind, you are on a different path,
Mm-hmm.
So there is this pushback and there's this grasp of trying to draw you back.
Mm-hmm.
But everything starts with a thought, and I want to end this with that, since you ended with a quote. Tony Robbins has another quote that says, "If you want to take the island, burn the boats," which means if you go to an island and you want your troops to take the island's troops, you gotta burn the boats so they have no way of going back.
Mm.
So if you have a plan B, it takes away from the plan A. Stick to the plan A, So that is one of my stories. It's all about what you make it to be. Never give up on your dreams. You blame yourself to an extent it doesn't even compare to other people's judgment.
Mm-hmm.
You agree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so my last story is just this man right here.
Ooh. Myself?
I am truly blessed with amazing man, and that was
don't do that.
definitely because I went out of my comfort zone. Already as a shy person, I am not a good flirt. So my friend, I had her doing all the flirting for me and talking to this guy while he was working. And anyways, I ended up leaving my number on a napkin.
Ooh. Well, you're gorgeous. I wonder why didn't I ask for your number, but I mean.
And I gave it to him, and I told him to call me. And that night, he just called me. And anyways, if I stayed in my comfort, if I didn't take that chance, and because I cared too much what other people thought, I would have never met the man of my dreams.
Drinks cranberry juice next to you. Wow. Damn, you really made it with me.
Yeah.
I love you. Yeah,
He's been a blessing.
You've been a blessing to my life as well. So, but this is not meant to be like all gooey.
No, it's not, but it's meant
Okay.
to saying that when you get out of your comfort zone, the smallest action can lead to the
bigger
biggest
Yes.
blessings. I
Yes.
was a single mom of 3 kids. I didn't know if I would ever find that love again, and I did, because I got out of my comfort zone and I did something small and it led to a huge blessing. So
Oh, you're so cute. Thank you for that. Yeah, that day changed both our lives. That was amazing.
So that's all I got.
Well, first of all, we never reminded them to smash that like button.
Oh, yeah.
And please, guys, if you like the content and if you get some value from this,
Yeah,
please.
let us know which one you struggle with most. Because
Yeah.
I had to do that for one of my assignments.
By the way, what's up with you guys? Like, 100 people watch the video and nobody comments. Like, why? Do you feel shy? Please say something.
Yes. So let us know which one you struggle with more. Fear of success or fear of failure?
I feel like fear of failure. Everybody struggles with that. I don't know about fear of success.
I know, but a lot of my peers said that it was the opposite for them. So who knows? There's a lot of minds out there that think differently. So
yeah, please let us know. Please smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. I'll even put a cute picture of a cat right here. I'll put it here. Okay. So you can see a cute cat and smash that like button. Subscribe for more. I hope you get some value from this because that's why we do it. We want to share stories that inspire you, right?
Yes.
And you can find this podcast anywhere you get your podcast too. You don't have to watch the video from on YouTube. So go look for it. We can put links down in the description. Do you want to tell them something?
Like and subscribe.
Okay, which is what I said pretty much, but just subscribe too. If you want to click the bell too, there is a notification bell so you get notified every time we upload a video. That's a great idea too. We love you guys so much.
Love you. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one.